So TNA Impact took place once again from Norfolk, Virginia. And I will not try to figure out TNA logic as to why it was the continuation of Hardcore Justice when they never promoted it as such before August 15th. The show starts with Bully Ray on the phone, and Tito Ortiz is with him. Mr. Anderson appears, and Bully Ray introduces them. Anderson wants to know why Bully Ray didn't tell him about Ortiz sooner. He says that Bully Ray has not been maintaining communication with him. And Bully Ray says that Mr. Anderson is too sensitive about the matter and that bringing Ortiz in was club business. He goes on to say that Anderson should be more concerned with his role as vice president rather than Bully Ray returning his calls and text messages. He and Ortiz leave, and Anderson appears taken aback by Bully's words. So basically, we are continuing to see the divide between Bully Ray and Mr. Anderson, which likely will lead to the eventual breakup of Aces and Eights. So then we see the latest stable to be formed in TNA come to the ring. The Extraordinary Gentlemen's Organization. Robert Roode, Christopher Daniels, and Kazarian. Roode gets on the mic and congratulates Bully Ray for regaining the world title. He says that Bully Ray used the system again to get over and added a new member to his group. Roode says that Bully Ray is a target now because either himself, Daniels, or Kazarian is going to take the world title at Bound for Glory. He says that winning the tables match last week put him in second place in the Bound for Glory series, and that is just the beginning. Roode hands the mic to Kazarian, who simply says that he won the ladder match last week. Daniels is on the mic now, and he says that he will complete the trifecta of 20-point wins by winning the street fight because he is the best street fighter and the women like his ass. Roode gets back on the mic and says that they make up a fourth of the participants in the Bound for Glory series, but why not make up a third? He says that they need to add a member to the group, and Austin Aries should be that guy. Roode says that if Aries wants a shot at the title, he should join them. However, Roode is interrupted by James Storm's music. Storm and Gunner come to the ring. Storm gets on the mic and says that Roode shouldn't be talking about trust. And he tells Daniels and Kazarian that eventually Roode will use them and lose them to get what he wants. Roode says that Storm is jealous of him. And Storm notices Roode and Kazarian wearing jeans and says that he never had to get dressed up to fight. So he walks to the corner, and as Roode yells at him to not do this, Storm takes off his hat, his shades, his shirt, and takes a swig of beer. He walks back over to Roode and punches him, which leads into the impromptu Blue Jeans match. James Storm and Gunner versus Robert Roode and Kazarian. Non-title match, by the way. Decent match. The match ends with Gunner delivering a backbreaker to Kazarian. Gunner slaps his own face several times and tags in Storm as Kazarian tags in Roode. Storm hits Roode with punches and whips him off the ropes, but Roode reverses the whip. Storm comes off the ropes with a forearm on Roode. He follows that with an inverted atomic drop and then a clothesline. Storm hip tosses Kazarian. Then Storm whips Roode into the ropes and delivers a power slam. Storm runs toward Kazarian in the ring corner, and Kazarian propels him over the top rope, but Storm lands feet first on the ring apron. He catches Kazarian with a kick to the back of the head. With Rude down on the mat, Storm goes to the top rope and comes off with a flying elbow drop. Storm goes for the pin, but Kazarian lands a blow to the back to prevent the pin. Gunner comes into the ring and throws Kazarian over the top rope. As Gunner follows him, Storm whips Rude into the ropes, appearing to set up a backdrop, but Rude catches him and attempts a fisherman suplex. Storm counters, grabbing Rude by the arm. Rude goes for a clothesline, but Storm ducks and delivers a double knee chest breaker. With Rude slowly getting to his feet in the ring corner, Storm sets up the super kick. As Storm comes forward, Rude pushes referee Earl Hebner in the way. Storm pulls the kick. Storm sees Kazarian coming at him with one of the tag team title belts and delivers the super kick. Rude low blows Storm from behind and rolls him up for the 3. The winners of the match, Robert Roode and Kazarian. Now, wrestling has always had the unwritten rule that if a wrestler defeats a champion in a non-title match, that wrestler automatically receives a title shot. Roode and Kazarian should get a title shot against Storm and Gunner, but they shouldn't win. If Roode doesn't screw over Bad Influence and the group remains intact, Daniels and Kazarian should pursue the tag team title, leaving Roode to concentrate on becoming world champion again. Championships are always the best display of power for a wrestling stable. So if they all become champions, they will rule the company. So then we see Austin Aries backstage. Aries mentions the offer by Sting last week to join the Main Event Mafia, then says he is getting a mixed message about Roode's offer to him to join the Extraordinary Gentlemen's Organization. Aries says that they want him to join in order to strengthen the group. Yet they probably cost him 20 points in the ladder match last week. He says that he has to trust the people he is with if he chooses to be with them, concluding by saying that he has to think about it. So then we had a non-title match. X Division champion Manik versus Sanjay Dutt. Solid match. The match ends with Manik charging toward Dutt in the corner, but Dutt delivers a foot to the head. Manik recovers and charges Dutt again, but Dutt does a somersault and returns to the corner with a running foot to the head. He follows that with a T-bone suplex. Dutt slides under the bottom rope onto the ring apron. He gets to his feet and executes a springboard splash on Manik. Dutt picks up Manik and front slams him close to the ring corner. Dutt goes to the top rope and attempts the moonsault double foot stomp. He misses as Manik moves out of the way, but recovers quickly and tries to execute a flying head scissors. However, Manik lifts Dutt up into a fireman's carry position and delivers a kick to the head as he drops Dutt, a move called the detonation kick. Manik then executes his double knee gutbuster and gets the 3. The winner of the match, Manik. Now the 3-way rule has officially been dropped, which is a huge plus as far as the need for character and storyline development is concerned within the X Division. Which leads to this. Why wasn't this a title match? Sanjay Dutt is always referred to as the best wrestler to never win the X Division Championship. So why not have the belt on the line in order to create a storyline from that? Also, where is Kenny King? He is still part of the X division, isn't he? So then we see Aces and Eights backstage. And Devon wants to know from Mr. Anderson what Bully Ray said. Anderson says that they need to focus on the main event Mafia and do what they need to do. Devon says that they are clearly focused after getting the best of main event Mafia last week. And Anderson says that no one will have the guts to join the main event Mafia, so it will be a 5-on-4 matchup. And Anderson wants to know if everyone is ready, and everyone is ready, and Devon is ready to testify, and they're all going to testify. So then we had the Bound for Glory Series street fight. Christopher Daniels versus Hernandez versus Jay Bradley versus dumbass Joseph Park, accompanied by Eric Young. The winner receives 20 points. Now, seeing Jay Bradley already in the ring after the commercial break already told me that he wasn't winning, and I don't get this. Solid match. The match ends with Bradley nailing Daniels with a chair to the back. He throws the chair down to the mat and delivers a side suplex to Daniels on the chair. Bradley sets himself up to deliver the boomstick and comes off the ropes, but Kazarian trips him and pulls him to the outside of the ring. He and Robert Roode, who both came to the ring earlier, begin kicking Bradley. Meanwhile, Hernandez torpedoes Daniels with the Air Mexico. He follows that with bombarding Daniels via a clothesline, a sledgehammer, a flying splash in the corner, and a shoulder block. Hernandez lifts Daniels up for the border toss, but Daniels gets his feet caught on the top rope so that when Hernandez moves forward, Daniels falls to the mat. Then Austin Aries comes into the ring and distracts Hernandez long enough for Daniels to knock him down with a clothesline takedown. Aries gives double high fives to both Kazarian and Roode, then turns to do the same to Daniels. However, Aries kicks him in the midsection and delivers the brainbuster. As Roode and Kazarian enter the ring, Aries buzzes between them, exits the ring, and runs back up the ramp toward the back, with Roode and Kazarian chasing him. Meanwhile, Bradley drags Park back into the ring and pounds away at him. Then Bradley takes out some brass knucks from his trunks and hits Park in the face. Park wipes the blood from his mouth, looks at it, and once again does his worst impression of Bruce Banner. Park gets to his feet as Bradley waits to deliver the boomstick. Bradley charges, but Park knocks him down. Park knocks Hernandez off the ring apron and then Black Hole slams Bradley. Park gets the 3, the winner of the match, dumbass Joseph Park. He receives 20 points for a total of 17 points since he had a previous total of -3. Now, I consider myself to be a knowledgeable wrestling fan, but someone will have to explain to me why dumbass Joseph Park went over in this match. Jay Bradley still has 0 points. What would have been so wrong in giving Bradley 20 points? It would have put him in 10th place, and it wouldn't have disrupted the standings at all. Has TNA given up on Bradley? Even though Roode and Kazarian were at ringside, I still didn't think Daniels would win because that would have put him in the lead. And I don't think TNA wanted to do that. Why would TNA make the decision to showcase Jay Bradley as a potential future championship contender in the Bound for Glory series and then not allow him to win any matches? Inexcusable. So then we see Main Event Mafia backstage. Sting says that last week was a bad week for them, and they still don't have a fifth man for the match against Aces and Eights. Quentin Jackson says that when he sees Tito Ortiz, he's going to break his face. Sting says that no one stepped up, and he doesn't think anyone will. Magnus says that no one needs to because they are the elite, so they should step up themselves. Samoa Joe agrees, and they leave. My only feedback for this segment: air quoting does not make you look hard. So then we see Bully Ray and Tito Ortiz come to the ring. Bully Ray gets on the mic and sarcastically tells Tito that the crowd is happy to see him. He asks the crowd how they feel about being bamboozled for a second time, and he follows that with his "Do you know who I am?" spiel. Bully Ray says that he did not state that he is a two-time world champion because he will not acknowledge Chris Sabin's title reign. He says that instead of Sabin beating him, he beat himself. Bully Ray hands the mic to Tito Ortiz, who simply plugs the November 2nd fight against Quentin Jackson, and that's it. What else is he going to do or say? Bully Ray gets on the mic and says that no one can outdo him when it comes to shock and surprise. And basically he says that he has a special surprise for everyone, and he tells that surprise to come out. Brooke Tessmacher comes to the ring. She walks up to Bully Ray, and he proceeds to swallow her face. Bully Ray says that now that he has Tessmacher, Ortiz, and Taz with him, he can't be stopped. Bully Ray says that there is one thing left to do. Tessmacher grabs his hand and wraps her mouth around his finger. She pulls his ring off with her mouth. And there's this brief line of spit connecting her mouth with his finger. Tessmacher spits the ring out, and that ended that. Okay. There was no point in making any reference to Hogan's daughter. She is not there anymore. So that video segment didn't need to be shown. We didn't need to see the graphics on the big screen, and we didn't need to hear that lame music. TNA could have done some careful and creative editing to clean that up so that we don't need to be reminded of someone who is not there anymore. Brooke Tessmacher. She looked great. The best that she has ever looked on television. She showed a slutty side of her that was better than what Velvet Sky does without even trying. Velvet goes well out of her way to showcase her slutty side, whereas Tessmacher did it without trying so hard. This Bully Ray Brooke Tessmacher pairing is very interesting, and I think about the possibility of this lasting even after the eventual breakup of Aces and Eights. If TNA were to develop this properly, this could become a nice throwback to the old school days in which heel/valet combinations were so prominent. For example, Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin and Sunshine, which later became Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin and Precious. Tully Blanchard and Baby Doll. Eddie Gilbert and Missy Hyatt. Dick Slater and Dark Journey. And Kevin Sullivan and Woman. Speaking of Woman, I read some comments online about this segment, and some people were saying that Brooke Tessmacher reminded them of Woman. And I thought about it, and I can definitely see the similarity. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Woman, her real name was Nancy Benoit. She was the wife of Chris Benoit, and most of you, of course, know the situation that happened with them. And for those who don't, you can do a Google search and look it up and read it for yourself, because I really don't want to get into that. But getting back to this, I can't see Tessmacher being Bully's main piece and still being an active wrestler in the women's division. For this heel/valet angle to work, Tessmacher would have to commit to it fully in order for it to be the most effective. So then we had a women's match. Gail Kim versus ODB. Decent match. The match ends with Gail working on ODB's hurt shoulder from the ring apron. She drapes ODB's arm across the middle rope and attempts a cannonball, but ODB jams Gail in the crotch. ODB throws Gail into the ring and goes through a barrage of a clothesline, an elbow, and a shoulder block. ODB tries to whip Gail with one arm, but Gail reverses it and whips ODB into the corner. ODB catches Gail with a kick to the chest. ODB proceeds to drive Gail's face into her groin several times. Then comes off the middle rope with a Lou Thesz press. Gail kicks out. She kicks ODB's hurt shoulder from the mat. Then she goes to the top rope, but ODB lunges her body onto the top rope, causing Gail to lose her balance. ODB punches Gail in the midsection and gives her an open-handed slap to the chest. Then ODB executes a superplex. ODB goes for the pin, but Gail kicks out. ODB attempts to pick up Gail in a fireman's carry, setting her up for the BAM. But ODB's hurt shoulder can't support Gail. Gail slips out and rolls ODB up in a crucifix pin for the 3. The winner of the match, Gail Kim. I felt that ODB should have won this match. Coming off the win last week, it would have made sense to keep ODB's momentum intact by having her go over on Gail. Gail losing is not going to hurt her status as the nucleus of the women's division. Her job is to put over the faces at the appropriate times. And this would have been no different. A win by ODB would have helped to build toward a possible title match against Mickie James at No Surrender, the next special themed episode of Impact. With Gail winning, though, does Gail get the shot? We see a video segment featuring Jeff Hardy and the Bound for Glory series. Hardy talks about being the first to win the Bound for Glory series and then going on to become the world champion. And he says that the competition is tougher this year, and he talks about the fact that he is fighting for his daughter. Hardy says that the key to winning the Bound for Glory series this year is staying healthy. Now, some have said that this could be foreshadowing to another title win for Hardy, but I don't think so. So then we see Austin Aries backstage. Aries is asked about what happened earlier with himself and the Extraordinary Gentlemen's Organization. He says that he simply responded to a question with an answer. Aries says that he knows how to mind fuck, and being a smart guy got him to where he is today. He says that Robert Roode had to go hook up with two guys who have never been world champion, and that he became world champion by beating Roode. And Aries says that he doesn't need anyone's help. Doesn't need Hogan's help. Doesn't need Dixie's help. Doesn't need anyone's help. He says that all he needs is his talent. Now, logic would seem to state that Aries would be perfect for this group, but I think that his greatest intangible is that he would prefer to accomplish things himself without the help of others. So then we see a video segment showing highlights of the title match between Chris Sabin and Bully Ray. And we see Chris Sabin backstage. He talks about Bully Ray being a master manipulator and the fact that the title match from last week was supposed to be between him and Bully Ray. Yet Aces Nate still found a way to interfere. Sabin says that he believes that the Main Event Mafia had his back. Well, if you want to call Quentin Jackson coming in the ring having his back, I guess. And that he will return to regain the title. So this promo keeps Sabin in the title conversation, and it appears that he could be looking at a return title match, possibly at No Surrender. So then we had the main event. Aces and Eights versus Main Event Mafia. Loser leaves TNA. So the Main Event Mafia are in the ring, still one man short. Aces and Eights are outside the ring, and Mr. Anderson gets on the mic and introduces their president, Bully Ray. Bully Ray comes out, accompanied by Brooke Tessmacher and Tito Ortiz. Bully Ray takes a seat by the entrance. Tessmacher sits on his knee. Ortiz just stands there. Aces and Eights are now situated in the ring and on the ring apron, and Mr. Anderson states that it is 5 of them and 4 of the Main Event Mafia. He says that it's unfair and makes the suggestion that one of the Main Event Mafia members should just lie down and take the fall. Sting quickly responds by saying that not one of them is lying down and that they will go down fighting. Then the lights go out and AJ Styles' music plays. AJ Styles comes out and slowly walks past Bully Ray, who is now on his feet yelling at him. Styles comes halfway down the ramp and stops. The music stops. Then Styles' old music plays. He takes off the hood and does his signature hand sign. He springboards into the ring. The two teams start going at each other and the match begins. Solid match. The match ends with Quentin Jackson in the ring by himself because he certainly wasn't going to be tagged in. In an obvious setup ordered by Spike TV to desperately put over Jackson, each of the members of Aces and Eights charges him in order to make him look as good as possible. Jackson decks Devon. He decks Garrett Bischoff. He clotheslines Mr. Anderson. He clotheslines Mike Knox. And he body slams Wes Briscoe. Knox hits Jackson from behind and Jackson goes down. Sting sneaks up on Knox and delivers the Scorpion Death Drop. Then he applies the Scorpion Deathlock. But Devon low blows Sting off Knox. He pulls Sting down to the mat and places Knox on top. Sting gets his shoulder up before the 3 count. Knox tags off to Devon, who takes Sting into the corner and hits him with several punches. Devon slams Sting in the middle of the ring and then goes to the middle rope in the corner. He comes off with a splash, but Sting moves out of the way. Sting tags off to Styles. Styles springboards off the top rope and hits Devon with a punch to the face. He punches each of the Aces and Eights members in their corner, knocking them off the ring apron. Styles decks Devon with a spinning back punch, then follows that with an enziguri. He goes for the pin, but Devon gets his shoulder up. Mr. Anderson and Garrett Bischoff come in the ring and try to double team Styles, but Samoa Joe and Magnus dispose of them. Styles is back on Devon and tries to execute the Styles Clash, but Bischoff tries to clothesline him. Styles ducks and delivers the Pele kick on Bischoff. Styles comes off the ropes, but Devon ducks the clothesline, comes off the ropes himself, and nails Styles with a spear. Devon attempts to body slam Styles, but Styles propels himself over Devon's head. He kicks Devon in the midsection and delivers the Styles Clash. Styles gets the 3. The winners of the match, the Main Event Mafia. Bully Ray has his hands on his cap in shock and even mouths the name Devon. The other Aces and Eights members are in shock. Taz is pissed, and he's going off. Members of the Main Event Mafia taunt Devon as he lies on the mat. Bully Ray comes down the ramp with the hammer, but stops short of the ring. Styles continues to drink in the cheers, supporting his switchback. Devon is gone. Show ends. Too soon. This happened too soon. TNA invested so much time and effort into building this dark persona for AJ Styles. Now, most people didn't like it. I thought that it worked well for him, but yes, I knew that the eventual turn back to the old AJ Styles would happen. But bringing the dark Styles to an abrupt end now ruins the opportunity to have Styles do the switchback at the time when it would have mattered the most. Bound for Glory. But now that this has happened, we can now take the slight teases that we saw and hopefully place more stability in getting the match that most, if not all, fans want to see. Bully Ray versus AJ Styles for the World Heavyweight Championship at Bound for Glory. There should be no obstacles stopping this match, but one possible obstacle makes his return next week. But that obstacle may be weakening. I'm Tazmar 2002, and that was my TNA Impact analysis for August 22nd, 2013. If you're listening to me on YouTube, please leave your comments below. Click the like or dislike buttons, and if you subscribe, I would really appreciate it. If you're listening to me on the Wrestling News Talk Facebook page, please leave your comments below and click the like button if you like what I've been saying. If you have any questions for me about TNA or wrestling in general that you would like for me to answer, you can get at me on Twitter, Tazmark2002, that's TAZMARK 2002. And if your comments exceed the 140, get at me with an email, Tazmark2002 at gmail.com. It was a solid show. Solid show. An interesting juxtaposition has now occurred concerning AJ Styles. We saw AJ Styles return to the man who was the foundation of TNA when it was born in 2002. But now he may leave the company due to contract expiration. To put this as simply as I can put it, I will not be able to stomach AJ Styles working for the traveling circus. TNA, do what it takes to keep him. I'm Tazmar 2002, gone.